So be brave, have courage, and when you do, you get stronger. You get more aware. You get more respectful of yourself and that which you fear.
What better subject to study than ourselves? What better subject to interrogate and investigate daily? What's the one character that we are never going to get, that we should never get bored with chasing to figure out? But also, it's also the one character that we can't get away from ourselves. It's the one person that we can't get rid of. So I have enjoyed and not enjoyed investigating myself through my life. I write about this in the book. I don't, to form a personal style or to know who we are or what we want, that's hard to do. So I have learned to, by process of elimination, get rid of the things that you go, well, that is not me, or that is just a fad. That's not going to ever be classic. That does not feed me. That may be, for instance, there's certain pursuits we go, yeah, that may be an immediate green light that's just plugged into a battery, but that light's going to go out because that battery's going to die. That's not truly solar powered green light. So style is finding those things where we go, oh, that's a solar powered green light. That's who I am and who I am not. I'd rather have an asshole than a dork. Why? Because at least I know where the asshole stands. The dork's trying to be everything to everybody that he thinks they want them to be. I don't want to be that. I don't really enjoy being around that person because I can't trust them. And when I've been one, I couldn't trust myself. So style is also about, once you do find your frequency on something, go forward if you're a non-tyrant and don't ask permission. And that's the not giving a damn part. I've found that the world will actually acquiesce and go, yeah, I'll give you a green light on that, if you actually go forward and mean it, you're going to do it by hook or by crook and not ask permission. Well, I've always been very intentional. I will say this. Part of it is don't worry, don't give a damn about the aware, and don't get objective. Don't hop out of yourself and say, how am I being received early? The best work I've done, and I am very aware of that, but then the best work I've done in my career is when my head's down in the process and it is completely a subjective experience, and I don't give a damn what you think about it or what anyone else thinks about it. And I sure as hell don't give a damn about the result because I'm in it. And I'm so in it that the last day of shooting, they yell wrap, and I go, okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow morning for tomorrow's work. And they go, no, it's over. We finished film shooting wrap. There is no tomorrow. Then I'm become objective for the first time. I did come out the other side, shaking hands with myself and going, hey, it's you and you. You're the only person I can't get rid of. So let's figure out how to get along here. So those trips away on my own after the Australian trip were always about, let's go figure out, Matthew, what we're going to forgive and what we're going to say enough's enough about. And the first 10 days of those trips on my own have always been hell. They were not, I did not enjoy the company, and the company was me until I got on the other side. And, after usually around day 10, I figure out what I'm going to forgive, what I'm not going to put up with anymore. And then we move on. And then all of a sudden I'm enjoying my company and I'm having a good time and I'm present again, recalibrate. I do think that there's great value in being alone. And if we are alone and we get bored and we don't like the company, ding, may that light go off to say, that does not mean we need to pick up our phone to get some attention or go to the bottle to ease the anxiety or go online to get some feedback to entertain ourselves. No, it's actually a great time to say, no, sit here in that discomfort long enough to go, okay, until you come out the other side to go, all right, I'm good with me again. Now, it's part of that. I write about traveling in general. Ideally, you don't go to a place, I always say this, I don't want to leave a place I travel to until I get to the point of going, I could live here. This could be my existence. And as soon as I get to that point, then I'm like, okay, you can go. now I can go. That's the same thing in the personal journeys. Stick with it till you get through the uncomfortable times, until you go, you know what? I can spend time with myself. I could do this. I could do this forever. Well, then it's okay to go re-engage, pick up your phone, go see your friends, go have a drink, what have you. Go look for those things that are other relationships in life. But hopefully not until. There's great value in not doing that until you go, I'm good with me and me for right now. I mean, I don't go there going, oh, I got to work something out. It's more about, I'm going to put myself in a place where I'm going to be forced to work something out. And that goes back to that place you're talking about that's very hard to find. Sometimes we don't know what it is we're trying to figure out, but can we put ourselves in a place that may be very uncomfortable, where you're going to go, well, I'm going to be forced to. So I go to a place where no one knows my name, does not have any idea that I'm an actor, has never seen my face, has no idea if I'm famous, does not speak the same language, which is another thing to force you on yourself, because you get in a Socratic dialogue because you don't understand what everyone's talking about. And you are then forced to have the Socratic dialogue. You're forced to put a pen to paper for your own entertainment. And you're forced to quiet times where you're sitting there wishing you could go to sleep because it feels like it's 10 p.m., but it's actually only 5 p.m. And you're like, holy shit, time's moving so slow with this day, hurry up. It's uncomfortable. Oh, okay. 10, 12 days after that, I'm not enjoying the trip, but I know I have a destination. We can deny it. I deny it all the time, certain things. But I'm sure many of you, I know myself, when I keep denying it, it comes out eventually, and usually in a very awkward way. It's sometimes in a public space where it's like, oh, man, that bubbled over. Then I just, and I regret it. I'm like, you should have gone off and dealt with that on your own before you went out and said, oh, I can try to keep it at bay, knowing, because it's going to come out. It will come out. It will come out awkwardly in a relationship. You'll take it out on your significant other, a friend. You'll take it out on a stranger. It'll come out somewhere in an awkward way, and you regret it. I know I have. Well, it was hard because, I so happy to be and have the job I have. It's so happy to be doing what I get to do. But again, being less impressed and more involved, I had to go, wait a minute, this is still very impressive, and you can still be very respectful of the situation you're in, Matthew, and you're affluent, and you're, doing rom-coms, and you like doing rom-coms, and I do, and I did, and I was shirtless on the beach, and I was like, yes, and those rom-coms are paying rent for those houses that I'm running shirtless on the beach for. Yes, sir, that is I. Thank you, guilty. Fact. At the same time, I was like, don't feel like I'm growing in my work. And my life at that time had become extremely vital, meaning I just had a newborn son with Camilla. Wow, the only thing I ever knew I wanted to be, and now I was. And here's the job that I had held most reverence for in my life, fatherhood. Now I was. My emotions, the ceiling and the basement of my emotions, the range was so wide. I was laughing louder, crying harder, getting angrier, showing more joy, having more sadness, all across the board. All emotions were much more extreme than they were or could be in the work. Because it's a very compressed emotional ceiling and basement that is sort of inherent to rom-coms. They have to be buoyant. They have to stay within a certain frequency and bounce along the clouds. If you hang your hat on humanity or get love as hard or get as angry as you might in real life in a rom-com, you can sink that ship and the movie's over. You don't, in the rom-com, the couple doesn't make it back if you get too mad or too happy. You know what I mean? So I said, your life's more vital than your work. Okay, well, if it's got to be one way or the other, congratulations, Matthew, good. But can my work challenge the vitality I'm feeling in my life? So the work I wanted to do, there were certain scripts I wanted to do Dallas Buyers Club at that time, other scripts. Nobody's going to touch me with a 10-foot pole in those movies. All the dramatic roles I wanted, they're like, no, not with McConaughey, we won't finance it. Okay, so I can't do what I want to do, so I'm going to stop doing what I've been doing. So I stopped doing rom-coms. I said no, I stopped. Well, for the first 6 months of not doing rom-coms, I wasn't doing anything. Only thing that came in was rom-coms. I said no. Finally, nothing came in. And for 14 more months, nothing came in. I considered other careers. Didn't know if I'd ever work again. But after 20 months of being gone, unbranding, as I now call it, being out of sight, not being in your theater or your living room in a rom-com, not seeing me shirtless on the beach, I became a new good idea for some of those dramatic roles. Because where's he been? I don't know. I haven't seen him. Where has he been? So I was kind of refound and looked at in a different way. But you know, it'd be an interesting idea. Who wouldn't have been an interesting idea for Lincoln Lawyer 2 years ago, but is now? McConaughey. So it was a recalibration, but it was a long unbranding phase. I had to do that for myself. I loved doing the rom-coms, but I was getting the scripts and I felt like I could do the same script tomorrow morning. And I was like, that's fine, but I want something that's gonna make me sweat in my boots. I want some work that's gonna challenge me, make me go, I'm scared of this role for all the right reasons. And I can't wait to go attack it and see how I come up the other side. That's what I was looking for, and I wasn't getting that in the rom-coms. So I stopped doing those, and 20 months later, the roles that I wanted to do that did make me do those things came to me. Because it cost me something. Because it cost. It comes with a price. It's a bit of that line, don't pick a fight, kid. It's not really a fight unless you can lose it. It's not really, it's not really a risk unless you can lose the fight. I feel more alive in them. I have an experience in the making of them. I'm nervous every day I come to work. I feel like when I nail a day and I knock it and I know I did, I feel like, yes. I have a measure at the end of the day of like, you set out to do something, you prepared for it, you had intention, and you did it. And maybe even found some magic in the day. That I sleep good, knowing that I accomplished that day in building the architecture of a character's arc through a story. And then if I could put the whole thing together, and it comes out, one whole performance turns out to be a beautiful song, an original song of that character, then I'm like, yes. And I know that I was highly responsible for that. I was not solely responsible, but the most responsible for that. And that gives me pleasure. That gives me gratification. That makes me feel, gives me significance. That gives me confidence. If I don't pull it off, and I do have a day where I'm like, no, you didn't ever, and it was my fault. I would rather, with these kind of roles, I can look in the mirror and go, so guess who's responsible for not pulling it off? You, McConaughey. In the same way, when I go, guess who's responsible for pulling it off? I like knowing who, you. And it was also, again, work that challenged the vitality of my life. Dramatic roles allow you, the actor, to have as high of a ceiling or as low of a basement, from love to hate, from happiness to pain, as that particular actor wants to bring to it. Well, how many times do we think is our first thought, oh, well, if I did that, if I became that fourth grade teacher, that would be a demotion or a demotive move in my life? No, it wouldn't have been. It would not have been. I'm glad I didn't have to do it now in hindsight, but that would not have been a demotion. I would have found certain value that was going to fill my soul in that role that I was not finding doing the work I was doing in Hollywood. So it would not have been a demotion. It may have been perceived as one, but look, I've got friends, and trust me, I've done it myself, that lose a job and then get another, but won't take it because it's less salary than maybe the one they had before. And all of a sudden find themselves 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, a decade later going, they're still stuck. They didn't do anything. They're still saying like, no, I'm going to find that thing. And I'm going like, you missed a decade, man. Just go do that one that you love to do that maybe was going to pay you less because you'd at least been building something through the day. And who knows what that would have led to? Maybe that would have led to something where you're getting paid 5 times more than you were doing something else you love even more. So a lot of times I say this in the book. Sometimes it's not even about what choice we make. Just make a choice and commit to it and go and dive in. Because we can look up. Limbo sucks. We're all in limbo now with COVID. Limbo sucks. But sometimes you just go, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do this one. I'm just going to do it. If I do this to the best of my ability, sometimes that lens, somebody sees us do that. And they come up and they go, you're actually more qualified. You're overqualified for this job. You should be doing that. You're like, yeah, that's what I really like to do. They'll see it. But put ourselves in a position, right? Because you can look up and days, weeks, months, years can go by and you can go, I've been tiptoeing around here, not committing to anything for so damn long, I'm missing out. that there's a responsibility to freedom and that there is freedom in responsibility, and that earn your way there. We remember the stuff we earn, the stuff we experience, more than what the teacher tells us or what someone gives us for free. We just do. We broke a proverbial sweat on it, whether it was mental or physical or whatever. We built it. We understand. We felt how we got it, how we achieved it, how we got what we wanted. Those stick with us. Whether we forget them intellectually, they were written in our lineage, and they build resilience, and they build a healthy, true optimism going forward to know that, oh no, I've worked for something before and achieved it. Delayed gratification. Oh, there are choices I can make today for myself that will pay me back later in life. Mailbox money, as we call it in the entertainment industry. ROI. There are specific personal choices we can make, and they're worth considering. Look, I'm all for hedonism. I'm all for immediate gratification too. Sometimes it's like, yes, dude, it's Halloween. Eat all the candy you want. Go for it. It's not going to become a habit day to day. There's certain nights where you're like, hey guys, tonight we're going to blow it out. The walls are padded and we got nothing. We're off work on Monday. Let's go. Certain times to say that's okay. But there's, where is the selfish choice, the selfless choice? Where is what we want actually what we need? Where is what we need actually what we want? Where is the best choice for me, the best choice for we? Where's the best choice for we, the best choice for me? That's the place, I believe, talk about honey holes. That's the real place to go forward in trying to find. Tee ourselves up for those green lights in the future. And the simple things. So there are choices we make. If you're going to say right now, I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal to get what I want, and I got it. I got an immediate green light for me. That's just a battery-powered green light. That's not a solar-powered green light. Why? Because now, everywhere I go, I got to look over my shoulder to see if someone's there that I lied, cheated, and stole from. And when I'm doing that, I'm stealing whose time? My time. Now I'm not freedom. I'm not free. I don't have the freedom. I didn't create freedom in my future because I chose to make an irresponsible act that I left crumbs. I've now got reasons to look over my shoulder. And the more things we do to create in our future that we got to look over our shoulder, the more of our most precious thing we have in our lives, time, that we're stealing from ourselves. So it's not puritanical. It's just like, it's actually self-serving. It's a very selfish choice. And I'm a fan of the word selfish. I've helped redefine it. But I believe that there are selfish choices we can make that are the most selfless, that there are selfless choices that we can make that are the most selfish choices. Those two are not a contradiction, and we see them that way. Responsibility of freedom and the freedom in responsibility. Life's more than just straight Saturdays with as much cake as you want to eat. It just is. You will see how long you last doing that if you really do it. You won't last that long. Responsibility is appreciation of a past. It's building of a lineage. It's investing in ourselves. It's investing in something we started to build yesterday that we want to take into tomorrow. There's a response that gives us freedom. So to actually have true freedom, we have to be responsible, more responsible for certain things, for ourselves, who we are, constantly investigating and interrogating our better selves to say, I'm going to be a little bit better at this tomorrow, knowing that we never land. There's no ta-da moment. And that is one thing I think we all got to watch, because we all are so result oriented. Oh, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get to that place of pure enlightenment. I'm going to go, ta-da! Bullshit. No, you don't. Can it be a small ascension of evolution? Yes. But there's no ta-da moment. We're always chasing yet. And if we can get comfortable and understand and laugh and be ready to work hard at the fact that we're all just, if we could just say, we're all just achieving our way to the unachievable. And that's as good as it gets.